Did you just finish up an HVAC program at a post-secondary school? Are you wrapping up a tour of duty in the military and are looking for a way to transition from your current duties to the HVAC trade in the civilian world? Getting ready to graduate high school and are looking to get into the field? Or are you even a little bit more of a seasoned professional in another industry and are looking to make a transition into something new? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about ways to break into the industry and kind of how to take that first step. It's sort of a follow-up from the HVAC salary video from a few weeks ago, and I found that I had a lot of questions, private messages, emails, comments, and such, asking about these questions and how to do it. I'll remind you all, I'm not a employment expert, a guidance counselor, an occupational therapist. I'm a mechanic with a video camera, but I'll do my best to share some personal experiences as well as some strategies that I've seen work for other people. Maybe it can work for you too. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome to the AKHVAC channel, where I try to talk about tips, tricks, tool reviews, general chats, and my opinions on the HVAC industry. Today's video is brought to you by the guys at SolderWeld. They are dedicated to manufacturing the best products to use in the field for aluminum repair, bonding dissimilar metals, and protecting refrigeration components from excessive heat with products like Hot Block, which just announced a partnership with RectorSeal to come in a half-pound tub, which makes it more affordable to the end user and also available in every supply house across America. Guys, if you see Hot Block in your supply houses, buy it. If you don't see it, say, where the hell is the Hot Block? All right, enough of the housekeeping. Let's talk about breaking into HVAC. Hey, look, I'm 17, I'm 18, I just took some classes in my technical high school, or I'm looking to graduate high school here in a few months, looking to land my first job. What do I need to do to get into the trade? Well, you're probably at the best time in your life to get in as far as your youth, your physical ability, and the cost of your labor to an employer. This is your time to literally just start from the bottom and grind out your way to the top. So you're gonna find a residential company, probably seek them out, go in person, shake their hand, look them in the eye when you talk to them, and say you want a shot at it as a helper. You'll work your way up just like any other trade under the guidance of a mentor or a journeyman, and truly go through the hard knocks method of moving up in the field. There's really nothing else to say about that trajectory. If you're coming right out of high school, you don't plan on a vocational post-secondary program, that's gonna be your way to get in. So keep an open mind, open eyes, open ears, and a shut-off phone. The next most common question is gonna be the guy that just got out of post-secondary, whether it's a 2-year program, 9-month program. I mean, they got all kinds of programs, but you know, basically a post-high school HVAC vocational program. And a lot of them find that they're finishing these programs and still finding it difficult to get their first shot. You know, you always hear the line that, you know, they all want 5 years experience, this and that. For those that haven't already finished their programs, when you're in the program, this is your time to impress your instructors. Be the best student you can, because the networking potential is huge at some of these programs. A lot of these instructors, they know a lot of people. They know a lot of the companies. They themselves may have been business owners or still own a business if they do this teaching part-time. Don't sleep on the ability to network through your educational program. It landed me one of my first jobs in the trade, and that wouldn't have been a possibility if I wasn't constantly engaging with the instructors, staying late after class to ask questions, follow-up questions and such, and maximizing the opportunity they have at those schools. They know people, and they're not gonna just stick their neck out and risk their own reputation on anybody in their class. Be the guy, and it will come back to you. For those of you that already have finished the program, maybe didn't get that kind of networking or the opportunity to do something like that when they were in the class, if you're not already shopping out your resume all over town at every company you can, you should be doing that. There's nothing special about this trade that still doesn't make all the normal rules of job hunting apply. You need to beat doorsteps, knock on doors, shake hands, make eye contact. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of field you're getting into. These are all common things that you need to do. So for those that live in regions of the country where maybe it is an employer's market versus an employee's market, and it actually is a little difficult to break in, and the companies are raising their standards on experience, what I'm about to suggest is something that I actually myself did early on. It was actually a little bit before I went into a community college program, and did this throughout about, I don't know, 3/4 of the program before I got my first HVAC job. And that's to go into a maintenance role. If you really find that you cannot get your first opportunity from knocking on doors and getting somebody to hire you just based off being in school, guess what? You can almost always get into a entry-level maintenance position at a facility with little or no experience, and definitely with some schooling. I may be painting with a broad brush here, but generally, when you look at your typical maintenance personnel, they may be great at a lot of things. Usually HVAC is the most lacking of those trades. So for you to walk in and say you've got, you know, a diploma or degree or certificate of completion, you may look more desirable to those employers. You do maintenance work for a year or two, which I did for a few years. I did apartments, I did hotel. Well, now all of a sudden, a few years later, now I can turn around to those same companies that turned me down or wanted 5 years experience and say, hey, I've got an HVAC degree, as well as a few years of maintaining, you know, and you can word this, you know, in the right way, you know, maintaining, you know, 500 water source heat pumps and, you know, all aspects of installation, service, and maintenance. These are the kinds of things you have to think about and be slick with to get your first shot. You got to do whatever it takes to get in. So again, that's probably my biggest tip to guys that feel that they literally can't get a job at a company that does just HVAC. Do something for a few years or even 1 year that involves HVAC that's easier to get into. Then you've got some more ammunition to go to those HVAC contractors with besides just a school diploma. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the union is an option for you if you have a union strong area that you live in and reside in. It's certainly a fantastic way to break into the trade if you're young or a little bit older and can get in to the apprenticeship program. You'll have a 5-year apprenticeship program. You'll be paid while you work and learn. You go to school a few nights a week depending on your local. And as most people know, you'll be accommodated with a whole slew of benefits and fringe benefits that help you with retirement, medical, etc. I work for a company that does have an agreement, a national agreement with the United Association Plumbers Pipe Fitters, and as such I am a member, and it benefited greatly. So it's certainly something to look into if it's something in your area that you can get involved in. For guys and gals that are getting out of active duty service in the military, first of all, thank you for your service to our country, and second of all, this is another demographic that I've gotten several messages from that are in that position of being close to completing their contract honorably for the military and are looking to transition into the HVAC trade. This is another thing I share a parallel with. I also got out of the Marine Corps about 10 years ago and had absolutely no idea what to do with my life and had to make that transition to the civilian world and find my place. A lot of the questions ask things like, should I try to go straight into the field or should I go to school? Should I do this or that? Will my experience translate? From what I've heard from other friends that have gotten out and tried to go into the same field they did in the military, generally the licensing and stuff is not transferable. You're not going to come out of the military if you did HVAC in the military and have a journeyman license in your state. It doesn't work like that. You'll still have to go through the same hoops that everyone else does to get licensed. I was directly in a combat role, so I didn't have, I had to start from scratch anyway. I didn't have a trade that I came out of the military with. I would almost 100% to every single military member or veteran recommend 100% go to school. You don't have to have school to be successful in this trade, but with the post 9/11 GI Bill, you can go to school and get paid to go. Not only do they cover the highest in-state tuition, you also get a monthly stipend for housing, which is equal to an E5 with dependents for your state. This is a perfect scenario for you to simultaneously go to school, get paid a good amount of money to supplement your living expenses, and then also go out and try to get that job right away. Yeah, you don't have to wait until you're done with school to get a job. Try to get a job. It's total immersion, yes, but that's how everything was in the military, right? That's what you're already used to. So come out, don't waste time, get right into a program, take a night program if it's available, and try to get that first job. Even if it's just a helper and you've got a family and kids and it's helper pay, that BAH is gonna help you supplement that and carry you through till you graduate or get a year or two experience and can command a higher hourly wage. For those of you who have asked if you're too old to get into it, or if you want to change career fields a little later on in life, to me, everything I've said up until now applies to you as well. You can get into this trade. You don't have to be 18. I wasn't. I was in my I think I was 26 when I got into the trade. You can definitely get in later. You just have to know that you're physically up to the demands of the job and the mental commitment it takes to academically catch up and get ahead of the learning curve. So guys, that kind of wraps up those tips for what I think are good ways to get yourself a first foot in the door in the HVAC trade, whether you're young, middle-aged, a little older, coming out of school, out of the military. I hope this was helpful. Please let me down below if you have any other input or suggestions or tips. I'm certainly not, again, an expert. I'm just kind of drawing from my own experiences, having been a veteran, somebody who got into the trade in their mid-20s and has worked in residential, commercial, and industrial sides of the trade. I said a few videos ago, I want to start giving shout outs to small channels, budding channels that are just starting to come up in the trade. Well, today I'd like to have you guys go over and take a look at CSC Reefer and HVAC Guy. I'll link to his channel right here. And guys, I think this guy's a great dude. He just came online about, I don't know, a month, maybe 2 months ago, has a handful of videos. Very interesting refrigeration calls. Again, it's something that I don't get involved with at all, really. So I always find it fascinating to watch. He's from Boston, so you can watch him get in his car and go take, I'm not even gonna try to do it. Check him out, give him some love, shoot him some comments. He seems like a really great guy and I enjoy watching him very much. There's a whole bunch of other guys out there. You guys all know who you are that we've been talking. I'm gonna get to you guys as far as shout outs. You all deserve more views. And with that, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing below if you haven't already done so. And remember, hit that bell icon. And with that, guys, stay safe and we'll see you on the next one.